they start. And they're really excited when they're designing the brand logo, designing, the website, designing their business. This is the exciting part. Now, where do people really get stuck? They do not like to pick up the phone. When you're like, okay, dude, well, I mean, if you're not in the retail business, if you're in the...
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to Picking Brains with JJ Swar. Today I have an incredible guest, Hussain Husaini. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Did I pronounce your name fine, right?
Yeah, you pronounced my name fine. I know we have issues with your name.
Yeah, everybody
whether
does.
It's Jabber or Jabber.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me on the show.
No problem.
It's actually a pleasure. I'm normally on the other side of this.
Yes.
So I feel like I'm going to enjoy myself more today. So
yeah, because you don't have to deal with the editing or whatever. You just have to talk.
The process, and I don't even have to come up with the questions.
Yeah.
So
you run Hustle Kitchen. Introduce that, maybe.
I run Hustle Kitchen. So it's a marketing consultancy where we focus on basically ROI marketing is what I call it.
Okay.
We're mainly B2B focused.
Okay.
All right. So if you have a burger shop, like, don't come to me. All right. I mean, what I mean by that is like, if you have a burger shop, there's thousands of social media companies or marketing companies that can help you out.
Yeah.
It's really like a branding game, take a picture of that burger, make it look really good and
color palette and all that stuff.
And keep posting that every day. And maybe if you have an offer every now and again, then do that, right? So in the B2B world, which I find a lot more interesting, so it's where we niche out. A product or a service that you sell is normally a high ticket item. So high ticket marketing is different. Right?
What does that mean, high ticket marketing?
It means like the customers that they have. Okay, they're spending 500 plus on one sale.
Okay.
Right? So we're not trying to get everyone to buy all the time, but we need more sophisticated techniques in order to be able to sell a higher ticket item, right? It's not a matter of just showing the picture and that's it, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to have
you need to
fun.
Convince them,
You need to convince them. You need to do storytelling. You need to have funnels. You need to have follow-up.
I know there's a lot of psychology that plays into marketing.
It's all psychology.
Yeah.
Like marketing is psychology, right? And so it's like, when we say it's like, how do you take someone from a Tinder to a Netflix and chill, You need to build a relationship, especially in the B2B world. It's not a one hit wonder. Yeah. Right. And a sale in the B2B world doesn't happen immediately. Whereas, like I said, if it's a retail brand, you see a product, you like the product, you like the price. Yeah. You're like, I want it now. You want it now.
Yeah.
If you were hiring, you work with EY. Yeah. So if you're going to sign up with EY, it's not a decision you would make immediately. If you saw an EY ad, be like, oh, I need them as a consultant, right? There's a lot more education involved in that process. And so it's like, the great thing about it is that someone might not be interested in hiring you today.
Yes.
But you need a strategy to keep that person within your funnel, educate them along the way. So when they are ready to buy, they think of you. And like for me, I don't believe in like selling anything I don't use myself. Right. Okay. I'm not going to experiment on my clients' dollars. Right. So this is exactly what we do for ourselves. Since we are a service-based business ourselves, we are a B2B company ourselves. So whatever we're doing, for our clients, I actually test it all out on Hustle Kitchen itself, building my lead generations, and having that workflow. Because the problem with like a lot of businesses, and I've been there before, it's like when you're banking on working like month to month and you're like, okay, you got a client this month, so you're good this month. But is it on a retainer or is it a one-off wonder? And then what's going to happen next month? Can I hire more people? Or am I not going to have the business next month and I'm going to have to let go of people? Yeah,
I noticed that with a lot of marketing companies, they have a lot of receivables, but they always never get cash. And then that always...
There's a lot of chasing. There's a lot of chasing, right? Because somehow... I don't know if this is just in Bahrain, okay, or it's around the world, but I'd never really experienced it when I was living in Australia or London, right? But it's like here, businesses somehow feel like they're winning, they're beating you at something if they can take your payments as fast as possible and delay paying you as much as possible.
Oh, interesting.
You know, then they somehow feel like, I'm like, this is not a negotiation. We have terms, right? But it's, I'm assuming this doesn't happen with the big corporates such as EY. But in the SME world, it's a law of the jungle, you know? So
it is. I feel like that made me think of something immediately when it comes to timing. I know it's like very like off the cuff example, but when you think of when I studied in the US, everybody's very strict on timing. Everybody shows up on time, right? And that's like the way it should be, default, right? If I say this time, people show up this time. With here,
inshallah timing.
Inshallah timing. And so now I'm noticing that same kind of mentality with payments, you know?
You know, that's really interesting that you bring that up, because the last time, I mean, I grew up in Australia and London.
Okay.
Right. So originally, obviously, Bahraini, but I never lived here. I was born here. I left at the age of 1.
Okay. Interesting.
So my education and my work life before coming here was in Australia and London. If you start work at 9 o'clock, and like once I think I got to my job at 9:02, they made such a big fuss about it. Like, oh my God, like, you know, how could you do this? Like, if you ever do this again, that's it. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
So the work ethic is very different. And I'm not even talking about, like, doesn't matter what level job you're in. Job is a job. You got to be there on time. And we're talking about you have to take a train for like half an hour to get to the city, going to the station, walk. So you really have to be on top of it to be there on time. You miss a train, you're going to be late.
That's why when they say it's 9 to 5, it's actually
actually 9 to 5, right? And so when I got here, I had a bit of a culture shock in the beginning. Right?
Can you give me a timeline just so I can assess? So how long have you been in Australia and UK before you came back to Bahrain?
Sure. So I mean, I'm 30, almost 39 now.
Okay.
Right. So I think I came to Bahrain in 2009.
Okay.
It's been such a while. I keep thinking it's like yesterday, but I'm sure I've been here for 12 years now.
So you're like 28, 27.
28, 27, right?
Okay.
And so when I got my first culture shock was going to a bank, because I used to work in a bank, retail in Australia. That was like one of my first jobs, right? And I was the lead merchant teller over there. So I know exactly how we dealt with it and our customer experience and like how, you know, obviously, and we've got queues of people. So I think I was in one of the busiest branches. And so we had around, I know I personally would have to deal with at least 300-400 customers per day.
Oh, wow.
Right. So you have to be as efficient as possible whilst cross-selling, upselling, being nice and all of that stuff. Right. So when I first came here, obviously, I need to open up a bank account. So I walked into, am I allowed to mention names? I think it's fair enough.
That's fine.
It is what it is. I think they're trying to improve their game. So the first bank I walk into is MBB.
Okay.
I go to the branch. I want to open up an account. So obviously, I need to see the customer service guy. In the branch, maybe there's customer-wise, I mean, it's probably like 10, 15 people in there. So it's not busy, right? I think I spent 2 hours waiting, and they didn't have a ticket system. I don't remember if they had a ticket system at that time, or there weren't that machines that pop up or stuff. And I remember seeing like whenever someone's friend would come along, they would always skip that queue, so you end up waiting, right? And I don't come from the WASTA system of knowing friends and cutting queues, and I was like, what a horrible bank. And this is such a horrible experience. I was like, I'm never going to open a bank account with this bank, right? And so that was a culture shock for me. But I feel like you just get used to it.
Yeah.
Living here.
Yeah. I mean, see, obviously living anywhere is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
You just have to weigh your pros and cons. When you said you lived in Australia, I feel like to me, I don't know much about the country, but from what I've heard, it's like ideal.
In which sense?
Ideal in the sense that they're welcoming of people from the outside. They have a lot of Muslims there, etc. A lot of people from everywhere. The people are nice. Food is good.
Yes. So for me personally, it's probably my favorite place to live in the world. Okay. And I'm not biased in any way, not because I have an Australian nationality. All right. But honestly,
not all biased.
Not all biased. You know, I mean, look, whilst I lived half my life in both these countries, it was never at one time. So it was like Australia, London, Australia, London, Australia, London. So in my adolescent ages, like my university ended up in London. And then I went back to Australia, having not been there since I was like 10 or something like that. And I was like, this is amazing. London kind of sucks, right? Everything's small, everything's gray. It's like, people aren't so friendly. Anywhere outside of central London is just all the same, whereas I found Australia that everyone's friendly, the weather's beautiful, the food's amazing, as you said.
Spiders, though.
I mean, everyone says that, it's like some stereotype. Yeah, they're like kangaroos, on the roads and stuff.
It's like the version, it's like the camel version from the Middle East, like kangaroos over there and spiders.
Exactly. But one of the things that was the biggest culture shock for me, like having been there in my later years, was that in London, everything's like money oriented. It's a very capitalistic city, you know what I mean? So it's all money, 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 and chase, and everyone's living in this rat race. And that's why everyone's depressed. That's why if you're going to train, no one's going to smile at you. No one's going to say hello to you. Everyone's like, why? What are you looking at it for? What are you looking at? They have that vibe. It's like no one's happy.
That's very interesting. When I was in the US, because I'm trying to like draw similarities. It's my freshman year, 2015. I made a lot of friends. Everything is money oriented, even in friendships. And I don't mean like a negative way. It's just different. And what I mean is, I made a joke, and people were like, if you can do this, I'll give you $5 or $10. Just like a challenge. Just, I actually mean it. I said that to one of the guys, like, if you do this, I'll give you $10. Like, really? You do that for me? Like, bro, if you need $10, I'll give it to you. But or with gas.
But that's in a humble way, right? He wants the $10. I'm talking from an arrogance point of view.
Like everybody's like apathetic there. Yeah,
it's all show, and it's like maybe that's just the central London life. Okay, maybe that's how the people are there. But like when I went to Australia, it's like no one talks about money, no one talks about politics, and no one talks about religion. 3 of my favorite topics, by the way. So I had to adapt and adjust myself. And I mean, don't mean this in a rude way, guys in Australia, but you kind of have to dumb down your social talk a little bit, because at the same time, one of the things that surprised me is like, most people aren't well traveled because it's so far away. Yeah. So traveling for them, like when I was like, I'm going on a holiday, guys, and they're like, are you going overseas? I'm like, who asked that question?
They think within.
Because they all think within, right? Australia. So I was like, since when is overseas? So they said, I'm going overseas. Whereas we know if we said, I'm going on holiday, we know it's automatically overseas.
I'm not going to stay here. What am I going to eat? More food? Different restaurants?
Exactly.
Man. Interesting. Yeah.
But there's one thing.
Yeah, okay.
I don't find there to be any poverty in Australia. Meaning, if you're on a minimum paid job, you're still going to have a comfortable life.
That should be the case.
Well, if you're on a minimum paid job in London, you're struggling.
I feel like that's what contributes to their apathy.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I was going to say, even like when I was in the US, because minimum wage and everything is such a hot topic there in the West. But I was going to talk about, real quick, another example I thought of with my friends is, and this is something I find so weird and interesting and a little bit annoying, if I'm being honest. Let's say your friend is going somewhere, okay? And I don't have a car there. I'm a student, an international student. I try to get a car, but it was such a tedious process. So this guy's going there, and I want to go there anyway, right? So this guy's going anyway, but he wants to split for gas. Yeah. And people almost never do that here. I don't, if I'm going to go to somewhere, I always going to go there anyway, regardless if you were coming or not. I'm not going to ask you, hey man, can you spot me, or can you give me like half for gas money?
I drove you all the way there, bro.
Yeah. It's such a big deal. Like every time there is a hangout, people are going someplace anyway, regardless of people are coming or not. Yeah. It's different when I want to ask you, hey, can you take me there, whatever. Yeah. That's fine. I understand that, right? Even in Bahrain, I wouldn't charge you to my friend if I need to drive you. But, over there, it's a different culture and it's a bigger country.
Gas is more expensive.
Exactly. But that's such an... I found it's like, when it first happened, I'm like, oh, okay. I just gave him my money. And then now I got used to it. It became like a political thing where people, whoever's like riding in different cars, we have to like count how many people are coming and who's going to pay how much. Yeah. And I'm like, oh man, that made me miss my Bahrain a little bit.
Do you know what? It's a double-edged sword. Yeah. So, you could, on one side, you've got can you chip in for gas?
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side, for example, in England, someone says, hey, can I get a cigarette? And, we're like, sure, like, we're coming from Bahrain.
Mm-hmm.
And, then they start taking out their coins and they're like, they want to pay you for that cigarette, right? Or it's like, when you're in the States and you go out for dinner with your friends,
okay,
what does the bill situation look like?
Usually, okay, that's a good question. I'm trying to think of an instance. Usually we split bills.
Equally, or do you itemize?
Okay, that's usually we have separate orders, so separate bills.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of an instance where we all had one bill and what we did.
In a proper restaurant.
I'm trying to think. Maybe we split equally, even though I had like nothing. I had like an appetizer and they had like steaks or whatever. Yeah. Oh yeah, we got $50. Okay.
So what do you do in Bahrain? In Bahrain, you fight for the bill, basically.
Yeah.
Like it's like you always try to treat someone. Otherwise, you kind of split it, right?
Yeah.
Like itemizing is not really a thing.
Yeah.
So what I was saying, this double-edged sword business is exactly what you said. So it's like if you go out for dinner, like in London, I go out for lunch or dinner with my friends every day.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're not English, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're from the split bill mentality. And then I noticed one of my friends always sneaky. He'd order the most and pay the least or equal, right? Then I'm like, if this is the way we're going to go, then I might as well order my 3 courses every time because it's going to cost me the same anyway.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And regarding the whole how we do it here is like people are fighting for the bill.
Yeah.
There's also like a subtle kind of social game going on, if you notice, where a lot of times, if it comes to it, you will pay, but you're hoping that the other guy is going to keep declining, and it's like a perpetual fight. Who's going to pay? Because I want to do the right thing. I'm going to cover it, but that guy's going to keep, and you're hoping for him to decline.
Yeah.
And then imagine, I think I remember the situation with my friend where he went out with his friends, and they had to pay for the bill. And he said, "Oh, I got it," and nobody said anything. Yeah. I was like, "Okay, oh, really? Thank you." Like, really? No one's gonna fight back? Yeah. Dang it! Yeah. So it's there's still obviously that human nature of selfishness or whatever, but I still like that you becoming uncomfortably
generous. I mean, I think Bahrainis. Middle East generally, people are very generous. And I think Bahrain especially are very nice. Now, I thought Bahrain was the nicest as a population, the friendliest people in the GCC until I went to Oman. That kind of blew my mind. I was like, why are these people so nice? Like this is not right. This is weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Culture shocks. Speaking of culture shocks, because I think it's a good thing to talk about. When I went there to the US, the driving is much different. Yeah, it's much safer.
Even though the roads are bigger and
bigger, cars have better infrastructure. They had some weird rules. They had some times where you would turn on a red light. Yeah, I'm like, I don't understand that system because here it never happens. You don't ever turn on a red light. Yeah, I think it's because there's no collision gonna happen for that particular lane that can turn or something like that. Yeah, we usually have merging turns. If you're gonna turn right on a traffic light, they usually have a dedicated road that merges immediately. I think that's their equivalent, but their infrastructure is so old. So, for instance, Pittsburgh, which was an hour north of where I was, I was an hour north, so Pittsburgh was an hour south of me. The city was built for carriages. Yeah, they're not built for roads like asphalt, right? Yeah. So they're so thin and they're bumpy and they're so bad. Yeah. And there's no way you can add extra turns or merging roads like that. I think that's why they had to come up with a system to make everything flow better. But the driving, they're so much safer, but slower.
But you know why I think that is? And that's the same case in Australia, by the way, or even in London. Because the punishment's severe if you break the rules. If you go just a few miles over the speed limit and you get caught, like the consequences, right? That's what stops you. And I don't know about the States, but they have the point system on the license. Like, for example, in the UK, if you get 12 points, they take your license away for 2 years.
Interesting.
Every traffic violation gives you points.
Oh.
And you're only allowed 12. Right?
Oh.
So if you get 12, you lose your license for 2 years or something like that. And at the same time, the driving tests are much more difficult. I feel like here the driving test is quite easy, quite lenient.
That's why we have dumb drivers.
Exactly. but this is what makes the roads more dangerous, right?
It is. I feel like there are more skilled drivers, not safe. Right? They're skilled as in
they can go to the F1.
No, I mean, like in the roads, the distance between cars is much closer, and I don't usually see accidents happening from that. And there are accidents.
Are you talking about here or there? Here, okay.
Over there, the gap is huge between cars. Yeah, and it's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
but we don't have that much real estate in Bahrain to
but that's called the braking distance, right?
Yeah, that's the braking distance, right? And over here, you have people in the fast lane just like blinking you from like a mile away. Hey, get out of my! I'm like, you're not even close to me, man.
The thing that annoys me the most here is when you're in the fast lane and someone's flashing you and you're looking at your speed limit, you're like, I'm at the limit. Do you want me to start going above the limit? And you ask me to move. You know, so you want me to move so you can break the law by going faster than the speed limit.
You know what's more annoying than that? You're at the speed limit. They're blinking you from a mile away. But you have 50 cars next to you. You can't really merge. What do you want me to do?
And there's
a camera in front of me. So if I speed up, I'm going to get the ticket. You're from Saudi. You're not going to... I don't know if there's a system where the traffic violations transfer to KSA. But they don't care. So what I do is...
And they're Bahraini a lot of the time. They're not always Saudi that's blinking you, by the way.
The way I think... Okay. I say Saudi because...
They're crazy drivers. Have you driven in Saudi?
No, they are crazy.
I've tried that once.
Oh yeah,
it's a different experience. I liked it. It's like you're in Need for Speed. You can do whatever you want. And they don't blink at you there. They bully you out of the way. They try to take over. In the fast lane.
I see. I say Saudi because I'm thinking of a specific road coming back from home, and that's the highway that takes you to Saudi. So a lot of people, when I enter from Atrium Mall, which for people who don't know, it's very close to the border to Saudi. So I'm in the fast lane of that highway. That's why I'm thinking of Saudi. A lot of Bahrainis as well. What bothers me the most is, so I don't have a place to go. Right? I'm at the speed limit, and you're blinking me from a mile away. And then you're blinking like 50 million times. I swear to God, if you just come closer to me, blink me once, I always move. If a person does that, blink me once, I'll move. You know, if you want to go fast, I don't know what you're... I'm not bothered. But with these schmucks that keep blinking, what I do is when I do get a chance to move over, I move like half the road. So I force them to like uncomfortably go through me. I'm like, you want to go through me, that's how you got to go through me.
I mean, I think I'm becoming more wise and mature now at 38, turning 39. But when I first came here, and this used to really bother me, I would just slow down. If you're going to blink at me, I'm slowing down. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to crash into me?
It's going to be your fault.
I'm going to keep him there as long as I can.
You know what I did recently? For Black Friday, I bought myself a dash cam.
You got a dash cam?
I got a dash cam.
For the front or the back?
Front.
For the front.
Yeah. I was going to get one that's for both front and back. Because I was thinking maybe I want to do a compilation of how many people blink me and do like a music video with it, something like funny.
That's quite cool.
But I was like, it was like a little bit expensive because the one that's for both is like 4K, whatever. And like, I don't need 4K for a dash cam. But it's one of the things where I hope I'll never need it. But
so you kept it for an accident?
Yeah, so I've kept it for like mostly like accidents or whatever, or just dumb things that happen to me in front of me. Like, and it's a very smart system. It's called Nexar. They're not endorsing me. Sponsor me, please.
Please. We need the sponsorship here on the show.
No, but it's.
We need to change the signboard. Sponsor us.
True.
To get a permanent fixture.
Yeah, true. Like to hang it. To make it look more appealing. No, so it's called Nexar, and what it does is it detects when you like brake hard. It automatically creates a clip. If you're parked and the car's off, it'll start recording while you're gone, and you have unlimited like cloud storage, and it can record like the previous 10 seconds, the previous 30 seconds, and like I said, unlimited cloud storage is like the key for me, because what you can do is like, hey Siri, take a clip immediately in the cloud. You do also have local storage just in case with an SD card, But for me, it's one of those things.
How is it uploading to the cloud?
I think it's connected
Like,
to.
do you have a chip in it or something, or?
So I think it's connected to my phone. So I said hey Siri, that's why.
So it's using up all your phone data to do this?
I think so.
I think so.
I think what it does is it locally stores it on your phone, and then you decide whether you want to upload it to the cloud.
Okay.
So you can choose which clip, for instance.
Okay.
I can save it for later, come back home, get on Wi-Fi, and then upload it to the cloud. But it's gonna be on your phone locally first, I think, on the app.
That's quite cool. What made you think of getting that? Like, and you know, accidents normally are the guy behind is at fault.
Yeah. See, here's the way I think of it is, if an accident happens behind me, I'm going to be fine because I'm covered. Yeah. Usually you're at fault.
Exactly.
So having it in front of me, in case...
Is like having a story.
It's like I have a story, you know, and there were a lot of situations in which dumb crap happened in front of me, which really annoy me. Yeah. And I was like, I want to record like these idiots.
Okay.
I'm trying not to cuss.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking of like one incident where I got so angry, but that's for another day.
Yeah.
To be honest, what made me buy this particular one, I'm usually not a sucker for ads.
So it was an ad.
Yeah, so it's interesting for you.
The marketing got you.
The marketing that got me.
Okay.
When I saw it, they showed like the accidents that were caught by this camera. And like, man, like situations in which, and mostly in America, what they do is they brake check you so they can get insurance. The guy in front of you wants the guy behind to hit him so they can get some insurance money, and that's pretty prevalent there. And so these cameras would catch that. So it's one of those situations where I would hope to never need it, but if I do, I'll be glad to have it.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, I wanted to buy something for Black Friday.
Just say that.
Yeah,
you know, you're out shopping.
There's so many things. I don't want to buy something that's useless, but I also like.
Did you see an ad, or did you browse a website and then pick that product?
Good question. I saw this ad a long time ago.
That was actually what the question I was coming to. Was it the first time you saw the ad, or were you retargeted?
I want to say. Actually, I remember now. So I wasn't retargeted. Okay. I saw the ad. I thought it was a good company, good initiative. I followed them on Instagram. Yeah. And I started regularly getting ads on them on my Instagram, but I never folded. Yes. When Black Friday hit, I was thinking, I want to buy something. What should I buy? And I didn't see an ad. I immediately like, maybe that dash cam is on Black Friday sale. It has to be. I went like, yeah, they were. Like, okay, there we go. Thank God I waited. Okay,
see, because 70% of online transactions happen through retargeting and not through the initial ad. Oh, right. So like, for people who like, running their ads, I mean, let's say here, we do a kind of a poor job locally. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think most marketing companies or brands, let's not call them marketing companies, because a lot of people do advertising in-house. Yeah. They don't outsource. Yeah. They'll just go such as you, right? Okay, so you might just, and a lot of people just go on Instagram and they'll put an ad on Instagram through the app, not through the Facebook ad platform. Oh, so you don't have
what's better
because you have more options on the Facebook ad platform. Okay. On Instagram, when using the app, because it's made to make your life easier. So you just go click, click, click. Whereas the ad platform looks kind of complicated.
I'm gonna have a conversation with you after the podcast. I want to push an ad for the podcast.
You should. I
want to.
And so, like, that's why you never get really retargeted in Bahrain. Have you noticed that? Like, you'll see a sponsored ad. Cool. But when it stops, it stopped. But you haven't, like...
Except for one thing, to be honest.
What's that?
Paddle. Oh, my God. Every day I get the same ads for paddles, like the same 3-4 courts in Bahrain. I'm like, man, just leave me alone.
No, but see, that's not how retargeting should work. This is what I'm talking about, right? And so this is one of the things we specialize in when I was saying in our way of marketing. Okay. So it's like, for example, let's say I was running an ad for myself. Okay, let's just use me as an example, right? And I did hey, we're Hustle Kitchen. We provide whatever service, right? And then you didn't click it. You didn't do anything with it. Right. So I know you haven't bought from me, or you haven't got in touch with me, or you haven't completed any actions that I wanted you to complete. So then we'll retarget you. Right. But this time the ad you will see won't be the first ad. It'll be, hey, I see you checked out my website. I see you saw my ad. You're still not taking any action. Let me tell you why. you should.
Okay.
So the retargeting is to push it closer. And then maybe the third one will be, all right, listen, here's a 30% discount or here's a free consultation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can have the story. It's the psychology, right? So it's like the great thing with technology is you can track everything. So it's not like, for example, when we had billboards, that's it. That's just a billboard, right?
You can't see how many impressions you made.
You can't see the impression, but you can't interact, right? So now, the beauty about it is that not only can you interact, but you can change the story and the timeline based on the psychology. I'm like, dude, I know this guy's seen my ad, but he's not interested. How can I now? If it was his second time round, what can I tell him different? If it's the third time, what can I really push him with that's different?
So with the paddle example, the first ad I will see is like, hey, our course is amazing. Yes. And then the next ad, and this guy knows he or she knows I didn't interact with it.
Yeah.
So next time they'll be like, we have the best court and here's why in Bahrain. This is why you should come here.
Third time might be like, hey, here's 20% off the court. Right?
How do you?
You see how your success level can increase dramatically by doing that rather than the wham bam thank you ma'am. I told you that, like going from Tinder to Netflix and chill, building that relationship with them instead of just annoying them.
Okay, I'm just taking this information for the ads I'm gonna make for this. So I'm getting free consultation here.
And it's really cool because you might run your ad to your website to a specific page. Or someone might have visited your website without any ads on a specific page, but you know that. So I'm like, if you've checked out this particular page or product on my website, then I want to show you an ad for that product. Because I know you visited already, so you have an interest.
Yeah.
Now let me keep a top of mind until you buy it.
That happens with
every website you visit.
With everything, right? And it's not only that. Nowadays, and I'm pretty sure you would know, it's like nowadays, even if I say phrases or if I search certain phrases.
Isn't that freaky?
It's so
They say
crazy.
They don't do it.
Yeah.
Like Facebook says, we don't listen to you and stuff like that. Yeah. I swear I'm being listened to.
Yes.
I talk about something, I see the ad that night.
And with friends, they'd be like, no, you must have like written it somewhere. Yeah. I'm like, I did not search this at all. I can guarantee you, I can go through my history. There's not a single digital like footprint of me like looking for it, except that I spoke about this once with my friend. Yeah. The next day I got mad about it. I'm like, it really annoys me. Like, you're listening. Stop listening.
You know what? I was going to buy the fact that, maybe they don't listen or whatever. But it happened to me like a few days ago. I don't remember what it was. I was talking to someone about something, which I never talk about. And then I started getting bombarded with ads for that thing. I think it was even like a serviced office or something.
Okay.
We're talking about, this co-working spaces.
Yeah.
Now, I have no reason to look up a co-working space. I have my own office. Yeah. Right? So, but we're just having a chat about it. And then I start seeing co-working space ads.
Did you get D1 as one of them?
I think it was a D1. Could have been. I mean, I've seen ads from D1 before.
Yeah, I got one today.
It looks like a funky place.
I don't know. There's another one around like fintech, Bahrain Bay Area, I think. I don't know where.
There's like Brink. I went there today for the first time to visit a friend. It's actually a really funky place. I was like, you know what? If I was like a startup, small business, or a one-man team or whatever, starting a new thing, a lot of times, by the way, even if you have an office, I kind of like the Brink office, the design and layout more than having just a basic office. You know what I mean? Like when years ago, we didn't have these things. Yeah. The best you had was Serve Corp, which was in the financial harbor. Oh, sorry, now it's called Harbor Gate or something.
Is it called something else?
Harbor Mall. I don't know. They changed the name to something.
Okay.
But yeah, and it was like the biggest ripoff in the world. I'm sorry, Serve Corp, if you're listening to this, but you're renting like a cubicle for like 500 dinars a month or something like that. Parking is not included. Internet, these are all add-ons, like ad for parking, ad for internet, ad for, I think, getting a desk chair and this.
No, that's crazy.
Ad for someone to pick up your phone calls, ad for printing, ad for the meeting room. You book ad hoc.
Like $2,000 a month.
I'm like, just go rent an office. Yeah. It's just for someone who wants to say, hey, I'm in the financial harbor. It looks cool.
For the view.
For the view.
Yeah, that's crazy. But with me, when it comes to businesses, I'm not like crazy about entrepreneurship, in the sense that I'm not an entrepreneur yet. We'll see. But
Never say never.
of course, I'm always open to it. I always have these ideas coming in my head, and then. But I was thinking, when it comes to businesses, a lot of people focus on the wrong thing. I don't know where I heard this, but a lot of entrepreneurs were previously employees.
Yeah.
And they go to it from an employee perspective.
Yeah.
What they do is, a business is supposed to have an office. A business is supposed to have this. So you spend so much money on
unnecessary stuff.
Unnecessary things when we're supposed to first work on the product that you want to sell. And then these things follow.
Yes.
Right. So a lot of people, a lot of businesses here fail because people want to rent these offices in these areas, and it's too expensive, and you didn't even start on your product yet.
Yeah. Like, this is why I love the co-working space thing. They've really changed that option. You pay 100 dinars a month or whatever it is. Very affordable. Yeah. You got a funky place to work at, and you can meet like-minded people as yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. We didn't have that before. I think people are getting smarter to that now. You know, but back in the day, yes, you're right. It was it's my office, my desk. I need a secretary. No one's calling me, but I need a secretary. I need business cards. I need this. I need that. That is the exciting part for them. That is why. Right? Yeah. Because when you first start, you don't know how much of a mountain you got to climb and all the challenges. You don't know you're going to hate yourself at least once a week for the next couple of years, or maybe even the rest of your life, right? You're going to think it's easy. And I love when, you meet new startups or new entrepreneurs, and, I'm talking about the young ones, obviously they haven't had that experience yet, right? And so they're still living on cloud nine. The world is a beautiful place. Once I open my business, the floodgates will open, and they're already picking out the Lamborghini they're going to buy next year, before selling one product, and you look and you're like, what are you basing this on? It's like, for example, saying, hey, there's 1 million people in Bahrain, right? They all eat. If I could just get 1% of that market, I'll be great,
Bahrain and restaurants is just the worst.
I'm giving restaurants as an example, but literally they'll go like, University 101 style, right? Where it's like, the target market is this big. Okay, so it's a population of 1 million. Let's say 500,000 of them are within my interest range. Okay, my product, it's not expensive, it's 20 dinars. Now, if I just sell to 10% of that, right, I'll make at least 200,000 dinars. Yeah. Right? Life is great. You know what I mean? And then they start. And they're really excited when they're designing the brand logo, designing, the website, designing their business. This is the exciting part. Now, where do people really get stuck? They do not like to pick up the phone. When you're like, okay, dude, well, I mean, if you're not in the retail business, if you're in the service-based business, right? Or like, let's say all these apps today. Now that's the hot trend, right? Everyone wants an app. Everyone wants to be the startup for the app. Yeah. First of all, before I even get into that, why do we have new food delivery apps popping up left, right, and center still?
Yeah, I don't understand.
The old ones got crushed by Talabat, and people still think they have a chance, right? And now I'm hearing, okay, I don't want to mention names here, but like, because there's some people I met recently, okay? Two separate people who kind of had the same logic behind it when I asked the question why, right? And it's coming back to exactly what we were talking about before. They're like, I know Talabat's there. Now, if I get just 5% of Talabat's orders per day, then I'm going to be good.
To me, that's like such a bad mentality, because it's like you have, for instance, Apple and Samsung. Yeah. They're pretty much dominating the phone market. Obviously, there's some others like Huawei, whatever. But these two are like the big boys, right? To me, it's very strange. Unless you're a very big and established company who can afford to spend so much in R&D, and if you're very confident in beating these two companies, then go for it. But there's a lot of people, I'm just using them as an example. Of course. But if you have a company that is like maybe medium-sized and they want to compete with iPhone, you're just competing with something that's already established. Yes. And that's the problem with a lot of businesses here, is that Talabat is established. If you have some sort of like revolutionary, it'll take you a lot to beat Talabat, right? If you're just hoping or you're betting on the fact that you might get 5% of Talabat, that's not a good business model.
That's a horrible business model.
That's horrible. And that's the issue with Bahrain. People are focusing so hard either in two things. Because what I'm suggesting is try to solve an issue or a problem that no one has solved.
Yeah.
Or people are trying, but no one has found a good solution to, right? But it's either extremely this way, which is I'm going to compete with established markets, or I'm going to do something different for the sake of being different.
I haven't found that yet. Right? I find the other one first. So in my experience, no one likes to be a first mover, right? So you remember the pink berries and the yog berries, and you remember the cupcakes, and you remember burgers, right? So once, I think it's the mindset of they see an established, successful business, and they're like, well, they charge a lot of commission. We can beat that price. So then they'll be like, if they can do it, we can do it. You know what I mean? And then the ugly truth only reveals itself after like you go online, and unfortunately, it's going to cost them a lot of money because, in the beginning, people love to raise investment or put their life savings into it. Good luck getting that back in a year's time. Then they're hoping acquisition. Who wants to buy something that's not winning? You know what I mean? So look at like the unique examples. So like if you look at like, for example, was Malab. Right? Not food. Solved the problem. Worked.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. A very good example, actually. That was a very good example. And I think what we lack, that I have come to find, is that there's a lack of education in this area, and economics and business in general. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but once I took, for instance, in college, I took microeconomics and macro, I understood how this works. Right. And when I come back here and I see these businesses that are doing these practices that are like so bad, like they're either stupid, which I don't want to assume that they're stupid, or they're just oblivious. They don't know how it works. They just see an established marketplace and like, oh, if I go in, I'm gonna get some of that. It's like guaranteed I'm gonna get money, and they don't understand that's not how it works.
I have the best example, or why this happens. It's like when someone first opens a restaurant. I had a restaurant before, so I can speak from experience. And, from my opinion, at that time, my marketing agency, we served over 200 restaurants as clients.
Oh, wow.
So I had an insight as well. So I didn't come completely blind.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But I had never owned one, but I'm not completely blind either because I'd seen the kitchens. I've sat with operation managers. I had a lot of insight in comparison, but I don't know how to cook or anything like that. But as people go, like how hard is it to get food right? Everyone's hungry, you know what I mean? I didn't come, obviously I'm not that stupid to have come with that idea, but a lot of people do think that, right? But I had never run a restaurant. So what do I know about how to manage a restaurant once you open it? Then you're like, oh my God, the staff, the operation, the ordering, the supplies, this, and it's a 24-hour business, the 7 days a week, like it never shuts off, right? And we actually did well, I would say, in terms of our brand was well known. I don't know, do you know Londoner, or did you know Londoner, the doner kebab place?
I'm the worst person to ask because I'm very bad with restaurants. So it's not.
No, I know, but this place doesn't exist anymore. But it was the first doner kebab in Bahrain.
Okay.
Now, people will see it from the outside, like that looks pretty easy. They're assuming, well, I don't know how to cook, but I just hire a chef, right? I'm not the one going to be flipping burgers. I'm not the delivery guy driving it. So it must be really easy until they actually do it. And then they realize, most restaurants don't make money in Bahrain, by the way. But then when it comes to apps, this is the problem now with startups, is that they're seeing an app. So when you look at something like Talabat or any app, right? And that looks pretty simple. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What they don't see is why would Talabat have 500 staff members in Bahrain for this one little thing that you think is simple?
Yeah.
And that's not including the thousands of drivers that work. This is just hardcore stuff, right? The operations behind it is where the app fails. It's not about the app, because if it was about the app, anyone could develop an app and be like, great, right?
Exactly.
Signing up merchants, making merchants happy, the marketing, the workflow, dealing with complaints, dealing with whatever. There's so much involved it's like sometimes you think it's easier to just open a shop. You know what I mean? But because they don't see the behind the scenes, this is where
and this is where I'm saying like
is.
they lack the education on it, right?
Yeah, because who shows you behind the scenes of an app?
Nobody.
You know, unless you're searching it.
Yeah.
Like I once went to Kareem's office in Dubai. Because when I was like in charge of Flash Deals, which is my app,
Okay.
and we're doing a collaboration. I go to their office, and you're like, Kareem's like Uber. You're like, it's a taxi app. Okay, I know there's going to be a lot of people working in a taxi app, but why did you need a whole building full of people? Like, what are these 1,000 people doing with this taxi app, right? And I'm like, that's crazy, right? So when you see that, you're like, yeah, that's why they're big and we're not.
That can make sense.
Yeah, not like someone here opens a taxi app, just tries to get 5 taxis on board and is like, come on, let's go. You know what I mean? We're going to be Uber.
Yeah. You know, this reminds me of? So I went to college for computer science and I minored in business, which is why I took the economics classes. It reminds me of principle and object-oriented programming, OOP, which is called abstraction. Yeah, I think. What it basically is, it's a principle in which you do your best to hide the engine of the code and make it simple. Like it's like the way that my professor explained it to me is, imagine having a Ferrari, right? The engine of Ferrari is very complicated, very complex, but it's all covered by the chassis and by the hood. Yes. Right? And so this is basically what an app is. There's a lot of effort made to make it look simple and absorbable by the demographic or the target demographic, but there is a lot going on, and it's like a organized chaos beneath the hood. Definitely. And that's what the building was. That was the engine, right? For Kareem, at least in that area. Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So it's hopefully with time, obviously they'll get it. Yeah. I mean, this reminds me of the funniest thing ever. Like when I was running my first agency, H2M. So we're digital agency. We did websites and stuff. Okay. No one was doing apps in those days. This pre-app days. And one guy walks into my office and he's like, I have a great idea that I want to do. I'm gonna build something like Google, but it's better than Google. And I'm like, you see that door? Feel free to leave. This reminds me literally of the movie called The Internship. I don't know if you watched it. I've seen that, I don't know what they're saying. So the students are like, they're trying to develop an app, right, for the contest. Yeah. For the contest in the movie. And so the old guys who joined are like, let's do this. I don't know if it was Google or something else. And they're explaining like, upload images and share it with friends or whatever. You're like, the students are like, so Facebook. No. Instagram. It has this feature. Yeah. So Facebook. No, it's Facebook, but better. So they wanted to build better than Google with a 2,000 dinar budget. Oh. Yikes, man. I'm not even going to entertain it. But it did make my day. Okay. Like, this is a story that stayed with me forever. It was a success. Yes. I was going to say, this is to anybody, right? I had this $1 million idea. Okay. And everybody says that. I know. Yeah, of course. Okay. In Bahrain, if you can pull this off. I kept it like hush because maybe one day I was going to do it, but I feel like it's impossible at this point. So, but if you do it, give me some commission, all right? Some royalties or whatever. Some recognition. Some recognition. 10%, right, of all revenue. Or sponsor the podcast if you do it. Yeah. So the idea is a shooting range. A shooting range? Yeah. A shooting range in Bahrain because nobody ever shoots guns. There's no shooting range. There isn't because it's illegal. Right? So nobody can own a shooting range and bring weapons in. Yeah. So the only way you can do this is my idea was convince the government. Okay. If you can hold a presentation somewhere and some higher up and be like, if we cooperate and open a shooting range together, because I know so the representative of the government, I know your concern is people handling guns or whatever. So you can bring your own security, Ministry of Interior, whatever, to this high security facility, have the guns tied to something. I don't know what the process is, but if you can convince, you're guaranteed to make a lot of money because everybody wants to shoot a gun and people will travel from Saudi or whatever to just come here and shoot a gun. but you can't because you have to convince the government. That's where I'm like, I don't think I can do that.
I mean, it is a fantastic idea, by the way.
Yeah.
And in Dubai, I see they do have shooting ranges.
Okay, great.
Right? I mean, obviously, we have our restrictions here. We can't even fly a drone yet, you know? So before the shooting, before the guns come in, we just want to put a drone so our videos look better.
Wasn't there a company that had license, but then they got
Bahrain drone or something?
Didn't it get taken, the license? Because
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've heard. This is what I've heard. This is like last year, I think. But they got their license taken because there was a drone apparently flying some restricted place.
Okay.
And they're like, you're the only ones that can operate the drones. Yeah. So it must be you or something like that. And so they took the license. That's what I've heard, allegedly.
Okay.
So I don't think we even have drones anymore.
No, we don't. Like, and because you couldn't have drones, so they were charging a really like good amount to get drone footage.
Yeah.
You know, which... I mean, these things are a bit annoying, though, you know, but at a shooting range, maybe work with the government on that.
Yeah. But then
in partnership, so they bring their own, because it's a great touristic thing for them.
It is. But the thing is, I was thinking, if I give them this idea, what use am I? They have the guns, they have the ability to build the infrastructure.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be expendable.
Yeah.
How am I gonna convince them to keep me in? Like, just pay me for the idea, baby.
Are BB guns illegal too?
They're not illegal, but they're very hard to bring in.
But can you have a shooting range with BB guns, like professional BB guns? It's still
maybe because we used to have a paintball. We used to have a paintball. It's not the same. That's the thing. We had to have a paintball arena, and it just I think it went bankrupt or something. It's not there anymore. So people want to shoot real guns. Yeah. They want to shoot like you can do a bow and arrow range. I've done that before in the US. It was fun.
Is that allowed?
I don't know. Maybe. I'm gonna cut this part out in case start something here. But it's still not the same as a gun. Like I've shot guns in the US. It's an amazing feeling.
I've never shot a gun.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling. I went to what was called clay pigeon shooting. I'm pretty sure you know. It's like they throw discs in the air and shoot them. And it's
like the first game we ever played on Nintendo.
Yeah, the Duck Hunt. Yeah, I remember. So I was gonna say, like,
did you shoot the clay?
Yeah.
So you're a good shot.
I was pretty good. Okay. Here's a funny story. So a friend of mine, Austin Everett, he was a year above me, but we were in the same fraternity. Yes, I was in a fraternity, but it's not like partying and stuff. Okay.
Then what's the point?
Yeah.
So do you still have frat brothers and stuff?
Yeah. I was in a Christian college, so it was very tame.
Okay. But tell us honestly, like, what did you have to do to join?
Okay, pledging was...
what was the pledging like?
Pledging was... it was not like the movies where you have to, like...
pick up crap and whatever?
Yeah, no, it wasn't that bad. We just had to make these tedious tasks every day, and we had, like, half an hour to sleep for a whole week, and I had midterms at that point.
What kind of tasks? What's the worst thing you ever did? The pledging. Pledging.
I had it pretty tame. Mine was... I had to do, like... a music video in the middle of the cafeteria or something like that.
Like act in it?
Yeah. No, I had to produce it. I had to bring people, tell them like, you know, I'm like directing them in front of people.
Okay.
And so they would have to, there was one where I had to
That's not bad.
It's not bad. That's all I'm saying. It's not like, when I say fraternity, people judge me. I'm like, no, man, it's not like that. It was more like a brotherhood thing.
Yeah.
But what was I saying before this?
Sorry, before you get there, was that just your frat that was the lame one, or was everyone's lame? Yeah.
We actually, our frats got in trouble later on because of the pledging. It was too extreme, even though it wasn't. Okay. But people didn't get sleep and stuff, and so they had to even tame it down further. Everybody.
Which university?
It's called Grove City College, Grove City College.
Where's that?
It's an hour north of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were saying about the frats.
Before that, what were we talking about? Because we
went from the shooting.
Yes. So Austin Everett, during my time in college, I didn't always have a place to live because we would have Thanksgiving where the college closes and I can't live in the dorms in there. So somebody has to host me. So Austin's one of the guy. Thank you, Austin, for hosting me.
Cheers, Austin.
Cheers. So he hosted me and I met his dad. I loved his family. Everybody, they were all like very friendly. They were all nice people. They were in Michigan. And his dad jokes a lot. Okay, he makes racist jokes about me, but I allowed it. It's fine. Like I don't mind it. It was very funny. It was not like distasteful like kind of humor. Like he was pretty good. So I'll give you one of the examples. We go. It's my first time ever shooting ever. Okay. We go. We pack the shotguns. There's one double barrel shotgun. So people don't know. It's like you have to open it up and insert 2 shells and then close it up.
Okay.
And the other one's a pump shotgun. So you slide the cock. Yeah. Anyway, so we went, and his dad. We didn't have a machine that would throw the discs, so his dad would take the discs and throw them in the air.
Just chuck him.
Like there's a device he had that made it easier to chuck him.
Okay. So he's a strong dude.
He's a strong dude. And first they tell me about security and everything of the weapons. And I was trying to be very thorough listening, and we had the ear protection, eye protection, and the rule is you never shoot if there's somebody like next to you, like parallel. Okay. And so we go, and Austin goes first. Okay. And he gets 7 out of 10. Okay. All right. And it's like pretty good. It's pretty good. 7 out of 10 is not bad. Yeah. Right. And I go in. My first time ever, I got 9 out of 10.
First time ever. Like, did you play a lot of video games growing up, shooting and stuff?
Play video games.
Shooting games?
Yeah, shooting games. And so the only reason I didn't get the last one is because his dad, I have the video too. Okay. His dad threw it so low to the ground, it was pretty much impossible to get at that point. Maybe he was feeling a little pity for his son, or because he was been shooting since he was a kid. Yeah. And you know what his dad says to me? Must be in your blood, huh?
Yeah. Must be all that terrorist training.
And I just like laugh, like, oh my goodness, very spot on. But no, they were amazing. And then
I just want to know, like, when you first shoot a gun, like, I don't like, what is it? Does it push you back?
It depends. When I shot an AR-15, it had pretty big pushback, kickback. As long as you are, so you have to push the gun against your shoulder. And have a very good position. As long as you're like that, then you should be fine. Once you shoot once, your body kind of subconsciously adjusts. Yeah. With the shotgun, wasn't that bad. I'll show you a clip later. It wasn't like it's a little bit kickback. What had a lot of kickback was the Magnum, the pistol, the revolver. When they teach you how to shoot that is they teach you when you shoot, make sure you intently go above your head. Like you don't resist the recoil. Don't like try to bring it down. Yeah. Just go with the recoil.
So you shoot and go up.
And go up above your forehead because you can smack the gun to your forehead.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, so they tell you when you shoot, make sure your elbows drive above your head with the Magnum. And that was a very strong gun. Very inaccurate, by the way.
Inaccurate?
It's not like when you aim, it's exactly where it goes. Yeah. Every kind of gun has its own identity. So Austin's pistol, his favorite pistol, I think it was called a Mosquito or something. He always did better than me in pistols, always. I did better in clay pigeon shooting because that was straightforward. I had to aim and shoot and went because it was a shotgun that has a lot of pellets that spread, right? So it didn't have to be very accurate, but you have to be around the vicinity of the clay pigeon. With this, you kind of have to be accurate. It's like single bullets, right? Yeah. What I noticed is the gun doesn't go where you aim. Every gun has its own identity in a sense. It can go slightly left and down. Okay. Once you figure out that identity of the gun, then you can be very, very accurate. Okay. Austin knew it. Okay. I didn't. Okay. So I kept like, how am I missing? I'm like literally aiming straight. I'm not angling anywhere. And it just keeps going like down left. It's like bowling. When I bowl, every time I try to throw from the middle, it always goes to the right. So what I did is I adjusted, went to the left. So I always went to the middle. Yeah. So like I did the same thing, and then I became accurate. So it's a pretty fun experience. Yeah. So they hosted me twice. So this year and the year after, ironically, the second year I did worse in clay pigeon shooting. But I think it's because I was using the other shotgun, not the one I was used to. Yeah. Excuses, I know. And then another friend of mine hosted me, and I shot a World War II sniper rifle. It's called the Mosin Nagant.
I'm getting a bit worried for you. You're really into your guns, aren't you?
Yeah, they're really fun. No, but it's like a cathartic experience. It's like you release kind of. It's like going to the gym, or I've heard like you're doing a challenge, like you're walking every day. Yeah, that 30-day challenge. 30-day challenge. How's that going? I'm transitioning to another topic.
Yeah. Before they get even more worried. I lost track of the days after I went to Dubai last week. So assuming I'm on day 30 or 2 days away.
Okay.
I think the 15th will be 30 days. Yeah, I'm down like 9.5 kilos.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And man, it's like life transforming, right?
Yeah.
And what do I mean by that? Because I've been like, I reached like the maximum weight I've ever been in my life, which was 104.5 kilos.
How tall are you?
184 or something like that. Okay. So 185 maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, I reached 100. I've never been 104.5.
Okay.
And last year, I was at the lowest weight I ever was, which was I reached 78.
Oh, wow.
So now I went from like being perfect
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah.
right, to being so overweight, right? And I didn't have a scale for ages. So when I bought a scale, I put it down. I'm like 104.5. Got a heart attack right there, right?
Reality slaps.
Reality slaps. I was like, got to do something about it now. And you reach the point where my motivation comes when everyone's like, "Hey, Hussain, you become fat now.
Yeah.
You're gaining weight, aren't you?" When like 5 people tell me that, then I'm like, okay, it's time to do something about
It's
it,
like
right?
the opposite is good when you like lose weight. People tell you, "Man, you lost weight,"
Yeah.
and they don't even know you're working out or whatever. I'm like, man, that means I'm doing something right.
Exactly. And for me, so obviously not judging others, but I know myself, my mental state. I mean, when I'm overweight, I'm mentally not as healthy. Like, I don't feel good.
Lethargic.
I don't feel confident.
Okay.
I don't want to like let's say like I do a lot of Instagram videos and stuff. I don't want to be on camera, right? So it affects everything.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily about the weight, but it's about how you feel about yourself on the inside.
Yes.
And for me, the outside reflects on how I feel inside.
Yes.
Right. So,
which is true for a lot of people, even for me.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
I was like you. Like I'm 186, 187 right now, but I'm pretty sure like when I was in high school, I was 117 kilos, and at that time I must have been 183, 184.
Height-wise, yeah.
So to me, I'm the type of guy that people would never tell me that I got fat because I've been fat my entire life.
Okay.
That was kind of my identity, right? And when I got accepted to go to study in the US, I'm like, I can start over.
Yeah.
I don't want to be known as a fat guy there.
Yeah.
Because even
so how big was that? Like, how fat was fat when you're talking about it?
Yeah, so 117 kilos.
And we're about the same height.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's like,
I get it.
Yeah. 12 kilos more than you, 13 kilos more than you were.
Yeah.
So when because I tried to lose weight before that numerous times and I never got it.
Yeah.
But this time I had like a motivation. Like, I'm going to go to America. I want to be a different person.
Yeah.
I can like have a clean slate because even if I lose weight here, I'll still be known as a fat kid. Like, you're the fat kid who lost weight, right? Yeah. That's all. Even to this day, I have that as my identity with a lot of people that associate me back. Which is cool. So every day I'm doing what you're doing, just walking around Saab, and listening to music. And at first I hated it. Because I couldn't like walk more than 5 minutes without feeling like everything's killing me. Yeah, I can't breathe, whatever. Yeah. But every day I would walk better distance. I would get more comfortable. I have flat feet, so it sucks to this day. I still walk every day, by the way. Yeah. If I'm not going to the gym, I'm walking. Yeah. Just to clarify. But no, I mean, it's so true that the outside is such a reflection of the inside for me. Because it's like a cyclical kind of relationship. When I lose weight, I feel better. When I feel better, I do more productive things that help me lose weight. Yes. It's like cyclical. It feeds into itself. Yes. Once you break that loop, that's where it sucks. Because when you break that loop and you feel like, oh, I broke that, I'm going to eat. I feel worse. What do I do when I feel worse? I eat more. Yes. That's the other dangerous cycle you have, right? Because it's almost like when you break it, like obviously it doesn't happen overnight. Mm-hmm. You know, when you've lost weight. So when I was like 78, it took me 6 to 7 months of eating crap and like not working out to gain weight. Yeah. You know, to see a difference. Yeah. Right. So you stay fit for a while just naturally because, you know, your body, your metabolism's almost up. Right. Yeah. And then once you actually get into that decline, it goes so hard. And then it's like, it feels like such a mountain to climb to get it back. But then you remember how you felt before and you're looking at how you feel now and you're like, man, life sucks like this, you know? And on top of that, obviously the walks, I don't know about for you, for me, it's like when you're active, your brain becomes more active. Oh. You feel more smarter. Like, I spoke about this like at least 2 times in this podcast. Yeah. I told people when I work out in the gym, because when people ask me for some advice or some help,
Yeah.
I almost always wait until I go to the gym.
Yes.
And then, because when I'm at the gym, when I'm active,
Yeah.
thoughts come.
Yes.
Thoughts come. I'm like, oh, I think I know how to best solve your problem. And then after the gym, I send them a voice note. I'm like, I don't want to lose this train of thought. So I send them a voice, even though I'm like panting and I'm tired. I don't want them to think like, oh, I'm just doing this after the gym because he just wants to get rid of it. And I'm doing it intently because once I'm active, my brain works.
Yes.
It's such an amazing thing.
It's an amazing, and it stays with you for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So today, like for example, I had a busy morning, so I didn't get time to do it. And I said I'll do it after your podcast. But actually, I had dressed up to go out for a walk before coming here because because psychologically now I'm like, I didn't do my daily exercise. So I want to do my exercise before coming here to be more energetic. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But then like I didn't have the time, so I was like, okay, I'll do it later.
It as well, by the way. I'm like dressed up like this. I'm going to walk like this.
I was literally dressed up to go out, and I was like, oh man. But yeah, so like now, like I mean, I haven't. My goal is 85 kilos, right? It's my ideal weight. My ideal weight is around 83. I'm at 95 now, so it's started 104.5. You know, clothes are fitting again. My face looks human again.
Double digits? How is that feeling? Once you go from 100 to 99, it feels amazing.
That was great. Now I'm just waiting to be below 95. So I'm 95.5.
I'm 98 right now.
You're 98.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I also lift, so that's why I don't have like a target weight. Now it's more become.
That's how you look.
Yeah.
You don't look at the scale. If you feel fine, the weight doesn't matter. I only look at the weight because I'm like, I know where my weight should be, even if I'm bulking.
Yeah.
Because I used to like, go to the gym every day, like back in the day, So I know that even if I'm bulking, I'm still 85. So yeah, like now, like I feel better. I feel more confident. I want to go out. You know what I mean? So it changed your life. And the reason I said 30 days specifically was that's a short space of time, by the way. Like, usually like natural weight loss happens at half a kilo to a kilo a week. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to just prove that it can be done faster. So not only you see me on the walk, I also then go to the gym same day. And I was on a keto diet all together, right?
Okay. That might be a little bit unhealthy.
Yeah, but I wanted the speed.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? I wanted to see how much I could push myself in 30 days.
Yeah.
Right? And to see if I can get somewhere that I'm happy with. To be honest, I'm happy now. I've still got weight to lose, but I'm happy.
That's what's important. Yeah.
Exactly. And then I was like, well, so if you are overweight and you're seeing my process, and hopefully that's some motivation for you.
I have a theory. Once you lose weight twice, you can do it. You won't get worried anymore. For me, when I first lost my weight, by the way, when I was talking about America, right? Yeah. I went from 117 to 84 in the span of 6 months. That's
because you don't have a car there. You're walking around. No, I know you were intentional.
But before I went there.
Before you went. So you lost it before you went.
I started in high school because I applied in high school and I got accepted and everything.
Ah, so you did it here.
So I did it here.
Okay.
Every day I would walk and then people will see me lose weight.
Yeah.
And after that, when I lost all the weight, I didn't lift weights. So I mostly was starting to become skinny fat.
Yeah.
Like my arms were very skinny, but I still have this tummy and everything. But I still I was still proud of it. I still felt good. I can buy large instead of X large now. It feels so good. I don't have to wear like a shirt over my t-shirt anytime
to cover what I think.
I don't have to cross my elbows every time I walk. When I was a kid,
or the other way around, you wear the shirt on top of the t-shirt because the shirt doesn't close.
Yeah,
you pretend that's the style. You don't even have an open shirt.
Yeah. So then, I went going to America. Food was not good. I'm a Muslim, so I'm trying to be...
You're doing the halal thing?
Halal. Okay. Right? A lot of people don't care when they travel. Like, man, just say Bismillah and eat. For me, I don't know. Something I don't want to...
You had a lot of fish.
Yes.
Did you have many halal restaurants in your area?
So in my area, it was bad. Unless I go to Pittsburgh, which is an hour, I don't have a car.
Yeah.
So every time I want to go with a friend, I have to pay for gas. And I also want to treat them too when we go to this place called Digila in Pittsburgh. It was really good. Okay. But no, I would eat salads. Or I would eat like garbage, like food, like M&Ms from Walmart, and the portion sizes are huge and for like half the price.
Were you a fish fillet guy?
Yes.
In McDonald's?
McDonald's, yes.
Fish fillet?
Yeah, but mostly fish fillet from McDonald's. I like with the mayo. I know
Yeah,
which
yeah.
one you talk about. Yeah,
The tartar
yeah,
sauce.
tartar
Yeah.
sauce. But
I love that sandwich.
it was good.
I don't know if I love it because I grew up because it wasn't halal.
Okay,
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so I grew up on it, right? But even like here in Bahrain, where I have the option, I will have a fish fillet on the side. You know what I mean? I still love the taste.
we had our own cafeteria, so I didn't always have to go because McDonald's was a little bit far, and I don't want to order and because there's a whole topic of tipping and stuff which I didn't like.
Yeah.
But I understand that their circumstances there are different than here.
Yeah.
But anyway, I would always get a fish sandwich from and that still wasn't like healthy. But I would always eat like garbage food. I mean,
Pizza, cheese pizza.
Cheese pizza.
Yeah.
And just like snacks from Walmart.
Yeah.
Nuts and everything. Because it's not something I wanted to do, but I had to do it.
Yeah.
The other option was to eat the cafeteria's chicken every day and beef, and I didn't want to do that.
And you didn't want to cook.
They wouldn't let you. They don't let you. There's no kitchen.
Oh, there's no kitchen in the dorm.
No.
So you have to eat processed food.
Yeah. And so I got really fat again.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So at this point, I kind of had doubts because I'm like, maybe that was a fluke the first time because I can't do it this time. It took me a while.
Yeah.
But then it took a while, like a year or something. And coming back to Bahrain for summer, I lost all of it again.
Okay.
Once I lost that second time, I'm like, okay, now I know if I shouldn't be worried if I ever get fat.
But you should be not worried.
Yeah.
You should just maintain. Like,
Yes.
like as in like once you've lost the weight, you don't have to be on a diet anymore.
Yeah.
As long as you're doing your daily walk,
Yeah.
you can still eat
Yes.
stuff and you'll be fine.
Yes.
The whole dieting part is just to get to the weight you want,
Yeah.
right? And then it's like, don't go overboard, but like, feel free to enjoy your meals.
You need to have like a lifestyle because diets are not permanent.
Diets are not permanent.
What problem with diets is you like they're called like yo-yo diets. Like you stay on it,
Yeah.
but then you feel bad. You're missing out on all these foods, occasions with your friends going out, and then you bounce the other way hard. So you just have to find, like you said, like a happy medium.
Yeah.
So for me, then after that, I was like, okay, not only am I going to lose weight this time, I'm gonna build muscle.
Yeah.
So that's like where I'm at right now. So
This is where you are now.
yes.
Okay.
So now I lost a lot of weight. I bulked. Last September I started bulking. I got to 106 kilos.
Okay.
But it was both fat and muscle.
Yeah.
I was very strong compared relative to me, not to anybody else.
Yeah.
Just to me, I was like, it was the strongest I've ever been. But then I was content.
Yeah.
Now I'm just cutting. Now I'm just losing weight, and I'm doing it happily. Like I'm eating 2,800 calories every day, and I'm still in a deficit.
You're still in a deficit.
I'm still in a deficit.
That's really good.
Yeah, it's really good. Or 2,700. Sorry,
Yeah.
2,700. I'm still in a deficit because my body itself burns what 2,100 on its own, doing nothing. So walking and like activities, lifting, playing sports.
Yeah.
And then so like I eat like 2,700 calories, and usually I even eat less.
Yeah.
But my trainer's like, no, you have to hit this.
Do you know, for me, the best thing about keto, okay, it's the first time I go on keto. I had no idea until I went on keto. I'm using the app to track my food and my carbs. I'm allowed 29 grams of carbs a day.
It's nothing.
Which is nothing, right? It's a piece of bread is more than that, right? So, but this taught me a lot about food. Like, I didn't know that there's so many carbs in fruits and in this and in that. You know, so I learned everything about everything, because I don't want to have boring meals, and I prep my food myself. I don't like going out, especially when I'm dieting. I like to know where my food comes from.
Do you ever get bored of the food you prep because you eat a lot of it?
No, because I'm actually a good cook.
Okay.
So I pretend not to be. So if I'm in a relationship, I'll say I don't know how to cook.
That's good. That's actually good. You set low expectations.
Yeah,
when
set
you
low
cook,
expectation.
when you cook,
Where did that come from?
He's humble.
No, honestly, I now prefer my food to many restaurant foods.
Good.
Right? So it's definitely not boring. Right?
Do you prepare all at once? Sorry, I keep interrupting, but I'm interested to know your process. Do you cook like when you say meal prep, so you make like a week's worth?
No.
Okay.
Because I want it fresh.
Okay.
Right? But I will, for example, if it's a chicken, I will marinate a large amount. So I can cook them on the fly when needed. You know what I mean? Or if it's steak, you obviously make a steak immediately. Right? So all my food is made in within 10 minutes. Right? But it tastes amazing.
Great.
And now I know, now I'm off keto, but I'm still eating in a keto way just because I love that food. But I've cut out like things like sausages and like, the unhealthy stuff, which on keto they encourage. Here I'm like, so now I'm like, same sort of meals, but without the real, like not too much cheese, not the bacon with the eggs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like, I feel like this is why I'm losing more weight now off keto.
Good.
Than I was on keto.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually eating, I can tell you I'm probably still on 50 grams of carbs a day. But calorie-wise, this app was trying to keep me below 1900 because of my target.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm eating more, probably eating less than I was on keto.
There's also there's a lot of biology coming into hunger suppressants as well when it comes to some foods. If you eat like a lot of fiber, it makes you less hungry.
Yeah, that's true.
So for me, like I have like a fluctuation kind of relationship with food in the sense that sometimes I eat a lot, but I still get a lot very hungry. Sometimes I eat a few meals and
you're full. Yeah.
Usually nowadays I eat 2 meals, which is not good because if I'm trying to eat 2,700 calories, it's better to have like more and space them out than rather than have 2 meals and then just keep snacking.
You're trying to eat more to bulk, right?
Right now I'm cutting.
You're cutting.
I'm cutting.
Okay, but so 2 meals. So 2 meals isn't bad.
Yeah, 2 meals isn't bad, but they have to be bigger meals. Just because I'm still a bigger person.
Yeah.
Cutting too much, having a big deficit is not good because then I'll lose muscle. I'm trying to retain all the thing. So retain the muscle I bulk.
The science is crazy, right?
That's the whole point, right? That's why my meal. That's why I have a target protein to hit first before caring about fat. Yeah. The way I'm doing it is
have the shake.
Yeah, I have a protein shake or 2. I have like 2 scoops. I have milk. I'm trying to hit like 180 grams of protein. And then, anything else, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Who cares? I'm going to eat a burger. But like you said, for me, some of that like stayed with me when it comes to healthy lifestyle choices. Yeah. In the sense that when I go to Talabat, there's gems for Burger King. I'm not even enticed. Like I'm not even enticed to hit this.
I get grossed out.
Yeah. I'm not even.
Not only am I not enticed, I get grossed out. You know, when I see this fast food, I'm like, just the thought of like oily KFC chicken just like grosses me out at this stage in my life. Yeah. I used to love it. Yeah, me too. But you know, when you get into that lifestyle, as you said, I'm just like, not for me.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And what I try to do is when I cheat, quote unquote cheat.
I'm too scared to cheat.
Yeah, I'm too. Yeah, but when I cheat, what I do is I try to find something between like fast foody, but also like healthy. Yeah. So what I mean is, like sometimes I would have wings.
Yes.
Like Wingman. Yeah. I know some people would consider fast food. Maybe I think the sauce is too much sometimes, and I agree. Yeah. But it beats the alternative, which is KFC. Yeah. And a lot of times I would just eat healthy calorie. Yeah, I like healthy calorie.
Well, you know, to be honest, like for me, my cheat meal, it's not cheat meal, by the way. I love burgers, right? But I like my burgers. Now, obviously, I'm not having bread because of the low carb stuff, right? But because I know how to make like fresh patties and stuff at home. So I get the minced beef, high quality meat, make the patty. Make everything else that would be on a burger. So my Gouda cheese melted on it, the caramelized onions and all of that stuff. And I eat it like a steak and it tastes amazing.
Yeah. Just without the bread.
Just without the bread. Because I prefer to have it without the bread than have this rubbish lettuce stuff that they do. I feel like the lettuce ruins the taste of the meat.
Lettuce.
I don't like lettuce.
Lettuce is just watery.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want like something like that, just eat spinach. Spinach is like thick. It has actually good nutritional value when it comes to fiber. Spinach is nothing.
No, but they say lettuce because they want to make it feel like a burger. But it just makes the burger horrible. I didn't ever understood it. Just have the meat by itself.
Yeah. No. Now you give me high expectations to your cooking. So if I ever do come to your place,
don't worry. We'll make you a meal.
I'll let people know. Let's see how long. Okay.
How long has it been?
An hour 19.
Oh, wow.
We can go 10 more minutes. I usually the target is an hour and a half, but I always go over to try and be better at it.
Do you then cut down?
No.
Okay.
Like with Omer, we had 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
And I had
it's a Joe Rogan experience.
I did 2 parts. So part 1, part 2.
Let's talk about your podcast for a second.
Go ahead.
So speaking of Joe Rogan just now, because looking at the time, like those 3 hours, have you ever watched a full Joe Rogan episode?
Once, maybe.
Once, right?
Once or twice.
But you probably watch a lot of the clips. Or
I used
not?
to when it was on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to.
The clips, right?
Yeah.
Because it's topic by topic.
Yeah.
So now, first of all, like, what made you want to do the podcast?
Yeah, so the podcast for me is mostly like a journal.
Okay.
I'm looking for a place. That's why I don't get bothered if it's too long, and I never cut it down. Because to me, what I'm trying to do is, and I explained this in the first episode, I'm trying to have an archive of who I am as a person. Someplace, because we have a power that's unprecedented in the sense that I cannot go back 1,000 years and see what my ancestor was thinking. Maybe unless through letters or whatever, but visually, audibly, none. But now we have the power where you can go hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years forward, and your grandchild can look back and be like, this is what I think, or how my great grandfather thought, or lessons learned, or just as a history lesson. Imagine, because we know of history through books, and through archaeology, people uncovering things, right? Yeah. But in the next phase of civilization, they might look at this podcast among other and be like, this is how...
Look how simple people used to be.
They're freaking idiots. They didn't cure cancer? What the hell?
What are they talking into?
So for me, the podcast is mostly just having an archive for my thoughts. And I was going to say something else. The whole idea of because people, even to this day, they would have diaries and journals, and maybe that's the way they are comfortable releasing their ideas, right? To me, I can never do that. I can, even just like recording an episode on my own, just looking at the camera. Some people
have you ever done that?
No, not really.
Do you feel weird doing that?
Yes, I'm very camera shy.
You're camera shy?
I'm very camera shy.
Is that why you keep the camera on the side?
No, actually, I'm keeping the camera as a way to battle my shyness.
Okay.
Because I have to still sit through it and edit it, and I have to get comfortable with my own voice, because everybody has their own voice. And
when you first hear your own voice, I remember I used to work in a call center, and they play you your recording sometimes, and I'm like, who's that? and I would cringe, and I'm like, is that what I sound like to other people? Yeah. I was like, that's horrible. I'm never going to speak again. Right?
There was a trick in school where we used to do. You take two files and you put them in front of your ears, and that's how and it blocks your own voice to yourself. Okay. So you can hear basically how other people hear it. And I used to do that. And like, oh man, I hate my voice. But now I got comfortable with it.
I got comfortable as well. I don't know how, right? But I used to hate my voice. I'd never like to listen to anything where I'm recorded. But the whole camera shy thing, I think most people are initially, right? Do you do video stories?
Can you give me an example?
On your Instagram, like, do you do video stories? Okay, this is the best way to battle your camera shyness.
But what do I say?
Whatever's on your mind.
There were times where I did it. Like, very few occasions where I felt
okay, you know what? We have to do one now. During the podcast.
During the podcast?
What's up, guys? So we're just in the middle of this podcast. We'll check out this episode, or whatever you want to say.
Right now?
Right now.
Let's do it.
Right now.
I'll do it on Picking Brains, not my personal. Easier. So small baby steps. All right, let's go.
You're doing on Picking Brains or the personal?
Picking.
Why is that? It's got the lower. It's got the lower.
Baby steps. Maybe I'll move on. All right. I'll record you first.
All right.
And then I'll flip it.
Let me know whenever you're recording.
I started. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, we're actually live in the middle of a podcast right now with Jabber, and we're trying to defeat his camera shyness by letting him do his first video story. Say what's up.
What's up, everybody? I've been coerced to do this. No, I'm kidding. I think this is episode 6. I think so. This is episode 6 of Picking Brains. Can't wait for you guys to hear this, listen to this, and Hussain has been an amazing guest.
What's up? That's perfect.
Great.
Just do one of those every day or every other day.
Yeah, I should.
I mean, look, you're gonna feel like a douche in the beginning. All right?
Yeah.
I still feel like a douche, to be honest. When, like, for example, when I'm out in public, right? I'm like, when I see people like, hey, like, check out this food or whatever, and they're like putting all this effort in, And when I'm doing it, I still feel, even though we do these stories and videos, I still feel weird doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is weird.
But you'll get used to it. And, you know, I think like, okay, so I was in Dubai okay, the last weekend. And I'm sitting down at my table, okay, and just having my lunch, right? This girl walks in with an abaya and everything. I'm assuming she was Saudi, okay? Did she have a headscarf? I'm not sure, okay? Maybe she didn't have a headscarf, but, you know, she had the abaya clothing. Okay. And so this is by the pool, right? So we're in a public space here. Now, she's obviously doing, you know, some selfies, whatever for us. So normal, we see this all the time, right? And so my table happens to be next to the pool. She literally sits on my table, right? Just to get the right angle of her.
Oh my gosh.
With the swimming pool in the background. And doesn't feel weird at all.
There is a limit to this. There has to be a limit to this. Like, you know, you have to be courteous to other people. Right? Funny.
Like, so speaking of thick skin, you know, and not feeling weird, she's become a pro now. I was like, so, and then she's doing on the table in front of me, and there was like some like English woman sitting on that table working on her laptop, right? And she's looking at me, I'm looking at her. We're both like have this smile, like, what the hell just happened?
It's like we both know what's going on, but man.
No, but you're gonna get over this, right? And it's fine. This is how you communicate with your friends.
Yeah. To me, once I do something, even if I'm shy, I just, you know, give it 100. Like, even I'm remembering when I was in school, I used to play the recorder. I have one actually here. Yeah. I used to play the recorder, and my music teacher took me to a music competition in St. Christopher's, actually here next to Nakhil. Yeah. Same one. There was a young music talent show or competition. Yeah. And, you know, everybody's playing the guitar. They're playing like string stuff. Rarely do they play like the saxophone or whatever. Yeah. And I'm very, very, very nervous. Yeah. Very, very nervous. There's all these white kids, like blonde. I've never seen like a lot of white kids in one place as an adult growing up here. Yeah. Ironically, people look at me as a very white boy. I know. Okay. But at the time, it's very like, I felt like, to be honest with you, I felt like inferior to them, to be fair.
So like, you actually felt that?
Yeah.
But how old were you at the time?
This was 6th grade.
6th grade?
Maybe 11, 12.
Do you still feel that?
No.
Do you feel the opposite?
No.
You feel equal?
Yeah.
Okay.
But to me, it's just to answer your question, to clarify, I feel, because before I felt that as a group, like me versus a group of people.
You're an outsider in that situation.
Outsider. But now the way I compare is individually. I've met a lot of white people who I love. I've met a lot of white people who I hate, and that's true for everybody. But anyway, so I went there, and they call my name, and they butcher my name, obviously, because my name, the way it's spelled, is very weird. So I go there, and I have the recorder. I'm so nervous, but I commit. Yeah. And I'm like, because it's like an air instrument, right? Yeah. So you can hear the nervousness and like the shakiness in my, and then I ended up getting 3rd place.
Nice.
I don't know how that happened. So that told me, like, you know, it doesn't matter who you're against. Once you're in it, you just do it. And so that's how I am now. Once
and you're very talented, by the way, with the recorder. My biggest talent was the triangle. Just ding, ding.
I still remember the piece I played. It was such a special moment of my life. Yeah. But I was gonna say, when you were talking about Joe Rogan, real quick, I want to know where your thought process was when you talk about the snippets. Yeah. Where were you going with that?
So I'm saying, like, okay, as you know, like, people have a short attention span, right? And I feel that's one thing. But at the same time, it's like, you know, when you're watching like American podcasts, right, in general, they can talk about anything. Yeah. They can swear, they can smoke weed on the podcast and like say things that, first of all, I feel like here we might feel a bit filtered on conversations. A bit. See, I'm not that guy, right? Yeah. Like, I don't mind being open.
Me too.
But with Omer on the show, who joined as the co-host, and he's very proper. You know, he's like saying, "Don't swear, don't do this." You know, like so.
Great guy, by the way.
Great guy. Like he's been my best friend for like 12 years since I've come to Bahrain. So as you notice, now I don't even swear. Right?
Yeah.
I've become very filtered.
Yeah.
But I'm not talking about just swearing. Obviously, I'm talking about topics. They can touch on any topic they want. We have to stay away from certain topics.
Yeah.
Right?
I noticed that when you have to moderate a lot when people go off topic.
Yeah.
Some of the audience will not get it, or maybe things that it's not good to talk about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm saying like things that technically are not good to talk about. Over there, it's normal to talk about it, and and actually it's entertaining, right? That's what makes it sometimes more entertaining, the podcast. Here, it's like we're kind of talking about real stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what
now, but like coming back to like Joe Rogan, I mean, I don't think I've ever watched a full episode because they're 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Right. So unless I'm driving or I'm just putting it on in the background while I'm trying to fall asleep, you know, and so I don't know how much my brain caught of that. But the snippets I watch all the time, right? Because obviously you can see from the title what they're talking about. It's 10 minutes. Everyone's got 10 minutes, right? So I'm saying, like, for example, we tried going the other way. Let's try to shorten down the podcast to 30 minutes, but I feel like that's too short.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the time you're warming up, like, it's been like 40 minutes already. You know what I mean?
Interesting, because last guest I had, his name is Sergio. He runs a podcast called Paradigm Shift.
Okay.
And they're actually short episodes. I think they're 15 to 20 minutes long. Yeah. And what he does is it's him alone. Yeah. And what he does is he researches very complex topics and try to make them simple. Yes. And that's what he does in a podcast.
That works. If you're doing it alone, it works because you have a topic. Yeah. You've probably even pre-planned that topic.
Researches and everything.
Yeah. So you know what you're going to talk about and you're going to deliver it very nicely without any, you're not thinking on the spot in 10 minutes. That's fantastic.
But with this format,
with a guest, it's harder. Yeah, with someone, right? Because
20 minutes is not enough.
You're trying to get to know the person. Most of the time you probably don't even know the person sometimes, right? Yeah. Trying to get to know them, about them, and then get into conversation. How are you going to do that in 30 minutes, right? Yeah. So like you said, it's better to go long and cut it shorter or put the whole thing. But this is like the one thing we've been thinking about, like, do you create a separate channel or the same channel for the clips? Because if you notice, like with most podcasts, they have a separate channel called like Joe Rogan clips, impulsive clips, whatever clips, right? And there's where your 10-minute videos are.
Interesting, because I have that kind of idea as well. And that's why I'm doing snippets like TikTok. Yeah. I'm using that as my snippets.
Yeah, like TikTok is super short.
Yeah.
That's like, let's say
10 minutes is good though for like
10 minutes is great
for a particular topic. I was telling Sergio, and Hussain was talking before the podcast. We were having a good conversation, and he said we should start recording because a lot of these good conversations happen either before and after. And this is the case with my last guest, even though it was an amazing conversation during. Yeah, but we had a conversation after. I think I said this. I don't remember, but what I said was the problem with. Okay, I don't think I said this particular part, but now I'm going to say it to you. The problem with podcasts here versus America. In America, it's a big country. People have long commutes, either to work or just to see. True. So it's easy for them to have like a 2-hour drive and listen to a podcast, an entire episode while driving, multitasking. Here, it's not the case. Bahrain is a small country, right? And so you don't have 2 hours to drive nowhere.
You're making time for it here.
Yeah, so you have to make time for it here, and people usually wouldn't make time. And I this is what I told Sergio. I told Sergio what I appreciate, because I was thinking of, and I think you'd appreciate this. I was thinking of making a video. It's a super cut. Yeah. So it's how I shoot an episode and what goes behind the scenes. Yeah. So me preparing the camera, preparing the mics, doing the audio adjustment, introducing the guests, whatever. So we actual recording, and then taking out the SD cards, processing, editing, syncing, all that stuff, like making the thumbnail, making the art, making all that stuff, uploading it to the RSS feed, sharing it. You know, like all these make a super cut, and then have the episode release on like an Instagram feed from you know, and have somebody just scroll through it and just not notice it and just like scroll. And then he sees like a girl posting like a selfie, you know, and it's like, oh, people don't understand. and another one I think was what I told him was, I said, I appreciate the person who doesn't just look at my page and like and then scroll.
Yeah.
I'd appreciate more if you look at the content, listen, even if you don't like. I'd appreciate you more for listening, because that's the whole point. I want people to be able to relate to these podcasts.
Yeah.
I don't really have a goal with my podcast, as in there's no certain topic I'm talking about. Every guest is different.
Yeah.
First guy I had was a rapper.
Okay.
I had him rap on here.
Yeah.
And I had him rate lyrics.
Yeah.
You know? Second guest was my friend from school, and we talked about school in Bahrain.
Yeah.
Third was my friend who started a creative agency and his road to that entrepreneurship. Last guest, we talked about religion and just religion, really, theology in general.
Yeah.
Right. So it's every episode is different. So what you might not like from one episode, you might find another episode. And that's how Joe Rogan does it, right?
Exactly, but how do you pick your guests?
Man, number one is you need to know how to speak English well.
Okay.
Because I have a lot of friends who want to get on, but their English is not that good. And
why English if you speak Arabic well?
Thank you for that question. It's a good question. It's because I have people my vocabulary in English is stronger than Arabic. Okay. I speak Arabic fine.
Yeah.
It's my mother tongue.
Yes.
But that's number one. I think my vocabulary is stronger, and it's an easier language. So I understand grammar better in English. Third is because I want to have a global audience.
Okay. But what if it was mixed, like depending on the guest?
I don't know. That's something I didn't really think about. I think the problem with Arabic, and I also spoke with the first guy on this episode about this, is I don't want to attract a certain type of Arabs watching this podcast, because you have those like, why is he talking in English? Is he not proud of being Arab?
Have you gotten those yet?
Not yet.
They'll come.
So they'll come.
They'll come. I get those all the time.
And most of if I do have a podcast in Arabic, and then what I'm doing is I know I'm gonna attract a few listeners that they will appreciate what I do, but there's gonna be a lot of those who will check out other episodes like, why is he speaking in English? Or, all these comments I don't want to deal with. I'm just trying to
stay consistent.
So I'm just, for the sake of consistency, avoiding a certain demographic that I don't want to attract.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Okay. Do you think in English or Arabic?
That's probably one of the most frequently asked questions I get, because in America they always ask me that.
Yeah.
Because like, your English is so good, which I always appreciate when somebody says that, because I worked hard for it. So what language do you speak in? At first, what I said was, that's a very weird question. I don't think in a language, I think in thoughts.
But the thought is in a language.
So that,
when you're talking to yourself in your head.
Yeah. So first I was like, I don't think in a language, I think in thoughts. And then I translate that thought depending on who I speak to. But then when I really sat and pondered about it, I think in a language that I'm engaged in currently. Okay. So right now I think in English. If I'm speaking to someone in Arabic, I think in Arabic. I have a flip.
If you're doing your walk outside, listening to your music, no one's distracting you. Other than you're going to say the music's in English, so you think in English.
I was going to say everything is influencing me, right? So if I'm having road rage, there's no music playing, I'll cuss in Arabic. Okay. If I have a song playing, I'll probably cuss in English. Okay. Everything.
So it changes.
It changes.
And your dreams?
I don't dream a lot, but I would say it's a mix as well. I've always had a tug of war growing up, because I'm also Persian. Yeah. My mom is Persian. My dad's half Persian. Okay. So his mom is Persian.
So you speak Persian as well?
I understand it.
Okay.
I understand it fully, but I would say 80%. I don't speak it because I forget words. But when somebody speaks, I can fully understand most of the time. So there's a constant tug of war happening in my adolescent years, where if I go to my grandmother's house from my mom's side, we're all speaking in Persian. Yeah. If I go to my, if I stay at home with my dad, etc., he's speaking Arabic. If I go to school, they speak in English. And so it's like I'm being pulled from.
What language do you speak at home?
Mostly Arabic.
With siblings?
Arabic.
Yeah. Arabic, yeah? Parents and siblings, Arabic.
Arabic, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, there was a time where, obviously, for me, I always think in English, but there was a time that I would think in Persian as well.
So you speak it fully?
Like Ajmi,
Okay,
not like Iranian, not Farsi.
Of course. I don't know Iranian.
I mean, for people who don't understand, because this is a very confused subject.
Yes.
So in Bahrain, everyone will get it.
Yeah.
Right? You don't even say you're Persian, you say you're Ajam.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, look, I might not be the best at Arabic because my Arabic kind of sucks. And that's why I don't actually do anything in Arabic content-wise, right? I only learned whatever I speak now when I came here. When I came, I didn't have zero. I understood a little bit, but I couldn't speak at all. So, like growing up in London, Australia, and like Persians are normally very proud. We are Persian. I had my father be like, "We're Persians," and all of this stuff, right? So I'm like, "Yeah, we're Persian," and then like you meet Iranians. Okay.
You understand?
So I was always like Persian. So even if I had like Iranian friends or in Australia, London, but we grew up there, so we're speaking to each other in English anyway.
Yeah.
So it was never tested, right? Until one day, I'm speaking to this guy and he's Iranian, and I'm like, I don't understand 80% of what he's saying. Like I can get a gist of what he's saying, and he kind of doesn't understand anything I'm saying. And I was like, damn, I can't say I'm Persian to Persians, only to non-Persians.
I explained this to my friends. So you're from Iran? You speak Irani? No. Like my ancestors probably are from Persia.
Yeah, and you know what the worst part is? So my best friend, like I spent a few years in Kuwait, right, high school days, and my best friend was an Indian guy. And his dad, and I was like, where are you from? I'm Persian. And his dad could speak Farsi much better than me because he spoke Iranian. So he'd always talk to me, and I'm like, I didn't know how to respond to that. I was like, it's quite embarrassing here,
I would say it's a different dialect. I would still say you're Persian because, with Arabic, Bahraini Arabic or Khaliji is very different than Egyptian.
Yes.
Very, very different to the point where sometimes we don't understand each other. Yeah, I understand Egyptians because I've spoken with a lot of them at work as well. I have, so I understand. Sometimes they don't understand me. Yeah. So I think it's the same thing with Irani and Persian. And when we say Ajmi, by the way, Ajmi in Arabic, means. Doesn't
Ajam mean foreigner?
It just means non-Arab.
Non-Arab.
Yeah. Okay. Ajmi means like non-Arabic. So when we say Ajmi, it's just
isn't that like almost a derogative term? Like Quranically speaking, when the word Ajam comes up, isn't that like saying in a bad way?
No,
in a negative. Doesn't have a negative connotation.
I think it's like saying, what was the term for in the Bible for non-Jewish people?
I don't know.
Gentiles.
Okay.
It's like saying Gentiles.
Okay.
Which isn't really derogatory,
but it's like kind of negative, right? It's not.
Maybe. The way people use it, I never felt like it was negative, especially as someone.
No, I mean, we in Bahrain use it; it's fine.
Yeah.
And like an Ajam will say, "I'm an Ajam."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm saying, about me, they're thinking about the origin of the word and where it came from. And I was like,
maybe, perhaps. I don't know. Actually,
we've embraced it. Yeah. But I'm saying. Isn't that like, for example, African Americans use their own word, right? But they can use it. Yeah. They can use it. No one else can. Yeah. I don't know. But so I'm saying the whole Persian Iranian thing really screwed with me, especially because I've always wanted to learn it properly. If you travel anywhere in the world, in the Western world, right? The Iranian or the Persians, they always live in the most affluent places.
Yeah.
Right? And they're a close-knit community.
Yeah.
So you'll immediately have friends if you could communicate with them on their level. Right? And I found myself, it's like, so I'd be like, like obviously the hi, how are you? Salam, chatori, and then I'll switch to English. I'm like, I'm that one of those wannabe. I'm a wannabe Australian, okay? I'm not trying to make it sound intentional.
Good. No, that's interesting. I never met like other Arabs in the US. Never.
Okay, I don't think
Or
you,
I met an Egyptian.
you worked in a
Yeah,
city, right?
I was in a very white college.
Yeah, and it sounds to me like you're in kind of some countryside type. I've never
Kind of.
been where
Kind
you've
of.
been,
It's not really country. It's
but it's not a cosmopolitan.
yes, it's suburban. But even when I went to Pittsburgh, so it's
Yeah.
very city. I didn't meet a lot of Arabs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if you go to LA,
Yeah, no. If I go to San Francisco or something like that, most diverse place.
man, Los Angeles has, or California, should I say, has like around 2.5 million Iranians there, right?
Oh wow!
In California. And actually,
It's
when
more than we have in our population.
bro, it's crazy. You know, when I went there, when I was like 16 or something like that. So there's 2.5 million Iranians in California.
Mm-hmm.
They're so big that I don't know if you remember the Yellow Pages.
Yellow
before it went
Pages?
extinct, the phone book.
Yeah, I remember.
How old are you?
I'm 24.
Okay,
I
so
remember
this
we
is
had Patelco.
so you're way younger. So this is like yeah. So you had the Patelco Zane book or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, like the Yellow Pages was a thing,
Yeah.
right? So growing up for us, you know, in our generation, you have this big book of
Yeah.
business directories, right? But there's so many Iranians that there's a Persian Yellow Pages as well, and it's half the thickness.
Oh my!
And every business listed in there is Iranian owned.
Oh my!
Like how crazy is that? That's a lot of
I
Iranians.
didn't know that.
Yeah, and they have their own TV channels. They have their own everything, right?
I know there's a lot of Asian people.
There's a lot of Asian people everywhere, right?
Yeah.
But like for them, it's like I mean, they're very wealthy, you know, like but they're very
Mercedes, BMWs.
yeah. But they're very integrated, right?
Yeah.
So if a non-Iranian ask them where you're from, I am American. You know, like even if like you know, obviously the new generation they don't speak with an accent, right?
Yeah.
But their parents, you know, they still have that accent.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how many years they're living there, right? So they have that very thick Iranian accent, you know. So like and you know when I remember like I was with my father and like you know he was asking some dude who's speaking to his girlfriend or wife, you know, in Persian, and you know he's like, you know, is there an Iranian restaurant around here or whatever? He's like, you speak English better. I me not speak Farsi. I am American.
I was thinking, you know, when you said so the children don't have an accent when they speak English.
The children, because who grew up there,
they grew up there, right? I feel like it's opposite what happens. So what happens is their English is good, but then their Persian maybe a little bit weaker than their parents.
Perhaps.
There's a lot of people I know of, I've never met. There's a lot of Arabs who are in America. They don't speak Arabic well, but their parents do, and their parents don't speak English well. Yeah. So that's interesting seeing that.
I mean, funnily enough, let's not go too far away. Like, if I'm looking at Bahrain, right, and you know the people our age, as in my generation, right, which is just past your generation. When they have kids, their kids are all going to English schools now, right? People not really going to government schools as much. So I notice that the parents are speaking to their kids in English.
Yeah.
And you see that all the time. So then what are their Arabic going to be like? That's
something I'm trying to tackle with my younger brother. I have an 8-year-old brother.
Yeah.
And his English is really good. His Arabic is a little bit struggling. Actually, they're both kind of equal. I wouldn't say his English is really good. His English is good. His Arabic is good.
Yeah.
But like we're trying our best to teach him both. Yeah. Because I notice this with a lot of other families, they exclusively talk to their kids in English.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to me, I don't have that kind of patriotism to cling on Arabic or English.
But it's a skill set.
The way I think of it is, kids are a sponge.
Yes.
You have the opportunity to teach them numerous languages that will help them in their future life.
Before 7.
Yeah, it's like before 7.
Right.
So you know, they can like learn, I heard like a stat saying 5 languages fluently. Yeah. Before they hit like the age of 10. Yeah. So just like take advantage of that. Don't just hone in one language, because the way they think that it might be like, if we teach them English really good, they'll be really good at English. That's false. They'll be really good at any language you teach them.
Yeah. And English is the easiest one from the lot.
English is so easy, man.
People can pick up. I've seen people come from Vietnam to London, couldn't speak a word of English. They were doing A-levels with me. Yeah. So in the beginning, they were like, they're taking notes in Vietnamese as like the teacher speaking. And they all ended up with 3A speaking English fluently within 2 years.
Yeah. English
right?
is not hard. English is not hard. Arabic, on the other
Arabic
hand,
is horrible.
so bad.
I've been here 12 years. I can understand
Yeah.
95% of what people say. I can reply around 30%.
Yeah.
I can get by.
Yeah.
I don't understand why my brain is not just fully adapting and like.
Even if you do, man, once you get into like Arabic, like the grammar of Arabic.
I don't want that. I just want to be able to speak comfortably. You know, I'm not interested in the classical.
Yeah, I'm trying to when I'm saying English is easy, I'm saying even the grammar is easy. The way it works, even though there's like there's a lot of dumb exceptions I don't understand.
Yeah,
but it's easy. Like when you compare it to Arabic grammar, it's just so complex.
Yeah,
I don't have it.
Any language I think that has a male female version makes it a lot more complicated.
Yeah, Spanish,
like French as well. French, yeah, and I remember like in French classes, like growing up, we have to do as a second language. I remember the table, le table, whatever. I was like, where's the logic that my brain can comprehend whether a table is female or male?
Yeah,
like it's so obvious. I'm like. Obvious how?
Even in Arabic, because usually in Arabic we say, okay, if it ends with eh, like tamarbuta, so like tawila, or like that, it's female, right? But then you have the sun, Shams, doesn't have that as female, feminine, or moon.
It's like, and there's no logic.
Or hand.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay, we're getting close to. We gotta close it up in a minute.
Okay, no worries. But yeah, no, I mean, language is a beautiful thing. My obviously, like for my brother and sister, a good example of this. So me and my elder sister, we speak English to each other, but we speak Ajami with our parents.
Okay,
so we can speak both, right? My brother and sister, being that generation that I'm talking about, right, the younger generation. So my parents started speaking English to them.
Oh,
they don't know how to speak Ajami.
Interesting.
Which now that my brother, for example, moved to Bahrain. Obviously, he'll be lost in conversation when it comes to that. So you're losing that kind of touch, So
I'm trying to learn a new language now. I'm trying to learn Spanish.
Spanish? Yeah. I'd love to learn Spanish.
I have a great program for you.
Really?
Not Duolingo, all that bull crap. I have something that actually works.
By the way, like when you're talking about the whole sponge thing. So born in Bahrain, right? Yeah. Moved to Spain at the age of 2. Okay. So obviously, at 4. Spanish was my first language after Ajami.
Wow.
Right? So literally within a year speaking. So me and my sister used to speak Spanish to each other. Okay. Right? Because outside outside Spanish, at home Ajami. Then went to Australia, picked up English in a year, forgot the Spanish.
Yeah. You have to practice it.
Yeah. If you don't practice something, it's gone.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's a good place to end it.
I think so.
You can give yourself a shout out, whatever you have going on, just letting them know anything you want.
Well, guys, you can just follow me at H Husaini or Hustle Kitchen, but I post my stuff on my own account. Weird, cool vlog ideas coming up. Great. So keep in touch for those.
All right, thank you for coming. It was an amazing episode. I loved it.
It was a pleasure, and it's great to just chat and not have some agenda on the podcast. Yeah.
That's what it's all about here.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Well, and by the way, I like the couch setup, that's why it makes you feel more comfortable while you're chatting.
It's like you're just having a conversation. It's just this is in the way, but like that's it.
But it feels so much more comfortable when you have the table, like I do. It feels like you're interviewing someone, or they feel like they're being interviewed. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you love the setup. I like it. I think I can upgrade a little bit, but for the most part, I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah, but hey, sponsors, come on board. We're gonna put your logo here, right next to the board.
Yeah, right here. All right. Thank you guys for listening, and until next time.